I've built investor demos, I've built my own projects, I've made all sorts of stuff using OpenClaw. But the problem with OpenClaw is it's so hard to maintain. So I decided to build my own harness, and I knew I cared about a couple of things. I want everything to be done through the UI. That is really important to me. That just makes it easy, and I weirdly trust it more. I want everything to be observable, but not clutter up the space. And I want it to be secure, and I want an undo button. Okay, so this is Agent. This is the main chat UI. I actually have two different agents open right now, Muse and Clio. They have different contexts, and so I was using them both for the videos that I'm making about Agent, and this is how the UI looks. Muse is where I talk to Muse Spark, and then Clio is kind of like ported memory over from my OpenClaw with the same personality, and it has a lot of context on my personal projects and my old Instagram videos and things like that. And so there's a couple of things I want to point out. First of all, we have two different agents open side by side, and we can use them in parallel. And that's because we have the agent rail. So the agent rail allows you to open as many agents as you want in parallel. They just open side by side. Your only limitation is the size of your screen. And with any agent, you can ask it to make a Spark for you right in the chat. So I'm going to ask Muse, okay, here's the tip calculator. We can make it $100 and even split it between two different people per person. That's gonna be 59 bucks. Cool. Now, I use Muse for a lot of my own personal work on my website, anything like that. And it has my GitHub and other things all connected in a very secure way through the Connections tab. So if I go to the Connections tab, you can see my GitHub, both my personal GitHub and my work one, and I can toggle them on or off depending on which agent I'm using. I've also got my Supabase connected, Notion is connected, so it can build entire dashboards for me, keep them up to date, everything that I want to do with Notion. It's connected to my Google Workspace, so it can also work in Google Docs, Sheets, my calendar. You can connect it to Slack, but I don't do that. It has resend so that it can send you every update to the app that I make. And then all of your connections have tools built in. And it also has a list of built-in tools so that you can do very normal things like reading a file, writing a file, renaming a file, transcribing audio. All of that stuff is built in. And even if you're in a chat and you don't have something like WhisperFlow installed, it'll automatically transcribe that for you, drop it into the box. There's also a built-in browser, and it's not fully done. I'm working on it still. I also have MCPs built in. There's only a couple right now, Adobe Premiere Pro and Blender, because those are things that I'm interested in, so now they're here. If you're interested in something, let me know. But you should also be able to just add one from the web. And one of my favorite sections is the settings section. I have light mode and all of these different beautiful colors that you can do. There's dark mode with the same beautiful colors. And then there's neutral, which makes it a little bit easier on the eyes versus light. I really like using neutral with the royal blue, but then it's also really fun to go matrix full green. It's just really it's really green and really bright. The next section in settings is where you add your providers. So I have Anthropic, OpenAI, OpenRouter, and Meta's Muse all built in. So if you have those API keys, you can drop them in. And through OpenRouter, you can pretty much get to anything. So I'm only supporting these four now. If you want something else, let me know. I don't support Codex subscriptions or Claude Code subscriptions. That's kind of a gray area. I don't want to touch that. But you can also run local models. So I have an M4 Pro, MacBook Pro, with 24 gigabytes of unified memory. And so you can see all of that right here. Agent auto detects your setup. And so I downloaded the Quen uncensored model for fun. That is tested and fully working, and it's kind of insane that it runs on this machine. The local nomic embed is gonna handle all of your memory. As long as you want your agent to automatically remember things, go ahead and toggle on auto remember. So here's how memory works in Agent. Why is Obsidian great? It's because all notes are atomized and linked. Each file is just one memory. So instead of one giant document with everything it knows about you, and then that gets injected into the beginning of the prompt anytime your agent runs, atomized memory makes sure that only certain things get passed to the model. Every memory is its own file, one fact or set of ideas, and then it's linked to all other memories that have similar ideas in them. So if I ask it, why am I tired? And in the last 6 weeks, I've told it, I'm drinking a lot of caffeine, I'm working late nights, I didn't sleep great last night, and I'm doing some new hobby that's taking up extra time. It's gonna surface all of those things because it has memories on all of it, and tell me some combination of these things is what's contributing to you being tired. And then save points are local git for any agent action. anything you do, it basically like saves the changes that you made, and then you can literally go undo it. So I'll show you the save points really fast. This is literally how it works. I asked it to make a tip calculator, so it saved that turn. And then all of these other checkpoints are just different things that we've done. Anytime it edits a file, you can rewind. And there's even just an undo button. So you can just like, oh, I didn't mean to edit that file. The agent messed up. Undo. There is a scheduler. The only one I have running on Muse is a nightly memory cleanup. And what this does is it just looks at all of the memory files that you have and that were created and your recent chats, and it just makes sure that everything is atomized and linked properly for the agent's memory system to actually work well. I also made a dashboard section, and this one for Muse just shows the commits that I've done to GitHub on my agent project. Now let's look directly at how agents are set up. You have a name for each agent. You make one for your first agent during onboarding. And then you have a bunch of different icons you can pick from. And you pick a single folder that this agent is jailed to. And I built a security kernel before I built anything else for the app, so that when you jail this agent to this folder, it cannot break out unless you turn on pro mode. So that's how you get around just having a UI do everything. You can still do a lot through terminal. You can still do a lot through enabling pro mode. And then you have custom instructions, or the soul file. The soul file is really a spin on custom instructions that OpenClaw first introduced, and it really gives your agents an identity. So you can just write custom instructions for a simple agent, much like you can do in ChatGPT projects or Claude projects, or you can type out the kind of agent that you want and you can click generate soul. Just make sure that you save a provider first before you generate the soul. Of course, you can upload context documents if you want to give it some extra context on specific things or plans or whatever you want. You can also give it read-only memory access to another agent. Clio has a lot of my memory just from things I've talked with it about when I first built my OpenClaw. And so I can give it read access to that in case it needs to know something about a project that I worked on and where to access it. If you already have memory from another agent, you can use import memory folder to just take your .md file into agent, and it'll atomize and link everything for you into the new memory system. But all of your memory is still just in a simple memory folder with every markdown file inside that folder, inside the jailed folder. So it's never leaving that. And then finally, you can still set up Telegram here. It's there, it works. And the last thing I want to talk about is AYGENT Remote, which is basically just a way that I built in. If you buy AYGENT and you want to use AYGENT from anywhere on any browser, you can access every agent, every session with every agent. It'll run things locally on your computer back at home while you just talk to it from your browser, even on your phone. And then as long as you're logged in, you go to the remote URL and then you can access it from anywhere. And it's fully encrypted. I can never see anything, I promise. And just to give you an idea of what AYGENT can do, if you set up the MCP connection to Adobe Premiere Pro, and then you go to skills and you enable hyperframes, you can literally ask your agent to work in your Premiere profile and add motion graphics that are fully built-in code and fully editable and everything. It'll just add motion graphics into your video, drop it into the right timeline. It'll organize all the files correctly. It can even just organize your Premiere Pro timeline. And so I've been a video editor for years. And so I wanted to build this in because I would have used this constantly a year ago. So that is everything that I can think of to tell you about AYGENT right now. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff and ways that I use it that I haven't even gotten into. I'll get into those in another video for sure. Check it out, masonlee.build/project/agent with a Y. I hope you guys like it. I hope you use it. That's it. Let me know what you think. Later.